If you like Khabib and want to see more videos like this, then be sure to smash the like button. Welcome back everybody to Keenan KTV. At UFC 229, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor put on one of my favorite fights of all time. But more importantly, out of that fight, what I took away was just the improvement and total peak performance that was displayed from Khabib Nurmagomedov. We know that he was able to completely dominate Conor McGregor in the grappling department, but what truly surprised us all was just how well he was able to beat Conor in the striking department. So in today's video, let us take a look back at the evolution and complete peak performance which displayed Khabib's improvement in the striking department. Going into this fight, the notorious Conor McGregor was known to be the best counterpuncher the featherweight and lightweight division has ever seen. He's a fighter who likes to come forward, pressure his opponents, corner them, box them in, pick at them piece by piece, make them nervous and make them commit to a mistake that he then will counter with. Throughout all of his spectacular knockout victories, one obviously will assume that Conor McGregor will just completely dominate Khabib in the striking department, but reality struck in October of 2018 when Conor McGregor and Khabib faced off. Sure, in terms of his skill set, Conor McGregor will obviously be the more complete and better striker, but you do not need to be the better fighter to beat the better fighter. Khabib Nurmagomedov, severely underrated in his speed, timing, power, and explosiveness, proved to us all why he is the true king of the lightweights. As in a matchup, he was able to completely figure Conor McGregor's game out, and in today's video, I will explain you guys how he did it in more detail. Let us begin. Going into this fight, the biggest mistake McGregor made was to seriously disrespect Khabib's overall skill set. He thought he could just go in there, do his magic, and come out as the winner, not really having a good game plan as to how he could defeat Khabib. Khabib, on the other hand, had just the right tools, the right game plan, and the right mindset to neutralize McGregor and beat him. So when the fight started off and McGregor came forward, already locked and loaded, threw the first big left hand, just as he made Khabib Nurmagomedov move to the right side so he can fully extend into his left hand shot and get the most power out of that straight punch. This will be a reoccurring theme in this fight, so keep this in mind. Khabib was able to dodge this punch, and as soon as he got out of the way, Khabib was so light on his feet, so quick. He presented lateral movement, bouncing from left and right. He simply did not give Conor McGregor the room to settle in and get a good read on him. Because of this, Conor McGregor had to resort to a very blunt move, and he launched a big head kick without any setups, and of course Khabib saw this coming. Being a lighter and quicker fighter, Khabib easily got out of the way, and as soon as he reset the action, he shot him for a single leg, and the rest in the first round was history. As McGregor sat down on his stool and his coaches were giving him the right instructions, they said to keep Khabib Nurmagomedov behind the black line, let him come to him and use single shots. Now, in my opinion, those were the right instructions, but as soon as the second round started, Conor McGregor tried to do that, but Khabib simply did not give in to any of McGregor's baits. He stayed calm, he kept moving, and he did not throw the first strike, which meant McGregor did not have a counter punch window, and he just ended up standing there and doing nothing. So he throws a nice long teep kick onto Khabib, which in my opinion was the best weapon along with the left straight to the body McGregor had all night long. However, it would not be enough as Khabib easily backed out of it, and from there McGregor sensed that he had Khabib cornered and he threw a very reckless Superman punch. But just look at how quick Khabib popped back and then popped a jab onto McGregor as McGregor was loading up on his flying knee. By the time he even launched his flying knee, Khabib already tagged him and moved out of the way. You guys just need to understand how quick Khabib Nurmagomedov, how explosive he is. It is so underrated that I just have to put it in this type of a spotlight. As Khabib circled away and both reset in the middle of the octagon, you can see in that moment, McGregor took the advice that the corner gave him and he tried to be defensively minded, not too eager, be patient, and he was just looking for a nice opening, be calm and smooth. But as he was being lured into the sense of security, Khabib instantly turned the tables and threw a massive, fast, powerful right overhand that knocked Conor off of his feet. And there is something in this sequence that many people have overlooked. In this camera angle, you can see it very clearly. Take a closer look at the eyes of Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's making eye contact with McGregor, but he then breaks the eye contact, looks low as if he's going to be shooting him for a takedown, and then boom, there comes the right overhand. I want you guys to pay close attention to Conor McGregor. Look at the way he responds to the first initial twitch. He takes a little step back, repositions himself a bit to the side as if he's slipping a right straight punch or potentially move away from an incoming takedown attempt, which is very reminiscent of the knockout punch he landed onto Jose Aldo. But as McGregor stepped to the side, he essentially walked into the right overhand and it just completely shook him up. Look at Khabib's reaction as he lands this punch. He flinches as if, oh no, did Conor McGregor slip it? What's gonna happen? But he then realizes that it did connect, and as he's seeing Conor McGregor crawling back onto his feet, he sprints towards him and launches a flying knee. Unfortunately for Khabib, it did not connect. Conor was quick to turn this around, and he threw a flying knee of his own that had a lot more success connecting than Khabib's. Khabib instantly tries to go for the legs, but Conor was ready to stuff this. As Conor stuffed the takedown, Khabib immediately moved away towards Conor's right side. And as he found a little space, he completely repositioned the fight and put Conor McGregor with his back up against the fence. Now, why did he do this? In order for Conor McGregor to have success in this matchup, he has to pressure Khabib. Khabib completely knew of this and he pressured Conor McGregor himself. McGregor on the back foot and being defensively minded, he's a good fighter, but he needs a space to move and be defensive. If he's cornered, if he's pressured, if he's put on the back foot, he becomes less effective. And because of this, Khabib immediately went back at Conor and kept him busy and pressured him. Now look at this sequence right here. Khabib, he goes for the same strike, the right overhand, but this time around Conor McGregor was a lot more prepared. He slips it, comes back with his own, but Khabib was just perfectly out of the way and it did not fully connect. It just grazed him at best. Khabib calms his nerves and he goes back to the traditional boxing approach. He pops a jab and look at Conor McGregor. He saw Khabib flinch. He tries to move his head to the outside, slip to the outside, but as he is moving to the outside, he already gets clipped and already gets caught. You guys, in this matchup, Khabib Nurmagomedov was a much quicker fighter and it really showed. He tried to follow up his jab with the right hand, but by that time Conor was already able to put his head out of the center line. But Khabib keeps the pressure up. He feints a jab, makes Conor move. As they both found an opening, they threw the exact same strike, lead uppercut, hook. Only difference was, Khabib was able to also string in a right straight behind it and keep McGregor backed up. The reason as to why McGregor threw a lead uppercut was because he sensed that he was getting very close to the cage and it was just a matter of time before Khabib shot him for a takedown. That was why he threw a lead uppercut in the first exchange, and he did this again for the second time. But Khabib, he flicked his jab and immediately dipped in to shoot him for a takedown. And by the time Conor McGregor even launched his uppercut, Khabib was already close to the hips and pressured him up against the fence and then took him down. We know what followed in that round, arguably the worst beatdown McGregor has ever received on the floor. But out of the two, Khabib is a much fresher fighter. In round 3, he just banked in a lot of drain on Conor's stamina and just slowed him down perfectly in this round. And Khabib, still remaining the faster fighter, was able to connect with a powerful jab, then follow it up with a crashing right hook. And right in this instant, it was very clear that no matter what Conor McGregor does, as long as he doesn't have to snap in his shots, he's not really going to be hurting Khabib Nurmagomedov in the slightest. So he then goes to the body, and what followed was just a prime example of Conor McGregor not being able to damage Khabib Nurmagomedov at that point. He feints his jab, connects with a beautiful left straight onto Khabib. Khabib eats it very well, just pops out of range as if nothing happened. is able to connect with his own jab onto Conor, and as soon as Conor saw Khabib flinch, he tried to counter with a lead hook that he then followed up with a left hand. The lead hook did not land, but the left hand straight was already locked and loaded, being able to smack Khabib right on the forehead with it, but it really just did not have any sting left. And Khabib says, "Come on, what? Is that all?" And in that moment, you knew that the end was pretty near for Conor McGregor. And nothing finalized that more than the following sequences. Look at how Conor McGregor is setting up his signature left hand straight counter sequence, right? Khabib steps in with his jab, Conor pops out, Khabib follows it up with his right hand. Conor is looking to counter that right hand with his own left hand straight. But as he's doing it, look at Khabib. He ducks under it, goes for the legs, and right at that moment, Khabib had Conor figured out. And everything that followed was just a sign that the end was approaching. For me, Khabib was able to seal the deal by throwing this lead left hook. The lead left hook is such a underutilized punch when people fight McGregor. Khabib shoots in, takes him down, and taps him out. The fight was over. A brilliant performance by Khabib, the Eagle Nurmagomedov. What I take away from this performance was that how well Khabib Nurmagomedov was able to fight McGregor's style, not walk into his shots, figure him out, and then go after himself. He was able to connect with arguably twice, 3 times as much with significant strikes compared to Conor. All the nice crisp shots that landed in this fight came from Khabib's side. And with that, I believe Khabib Nurmagomedov is no longer just a strong wrestler. We have to respect his overall game, and what he's very good at doing is making his striking game mix perfectly well with his grappling. Khabib is not the best kickboxer in the world, but what he does well is he just makes you forget about the striking. And when you forget about it, he surprises you. And then when you focus on the striking, he surprises you with the wrestling. He truly is a very, very smart fighter, and truly a remarkable talent. Do you guys believe the rematch between Khabib and Conor could be any different? Leave it all in the comment section down below, but in the end, it will be time that will tell the truth. Until then, I have been Keenan from Keenan KTV, signing off. Later.